Good morning. I'm Jennifer Barkin, and this is my co host and fellow accredited mediator, family mediator, Jennifer Donison, and welcome to Breakup Bites. Today, we're going to discuss a topic that I think a lot of you are going to find helpful. At least we hope you're going to find it helpful, and it's how to keep your divorce costs manageable. So, we've all heard the horror stories of people spending basically everything that they have or going into debt to pay for their divorce. Does it have to be this way?
It's so financially depleting, and some people just cannot recover after it. And people who've shared very comfortable lifestyles pre divorce just are struggling for the rest of their lives after divorce. And there's so much emotion and often a lot of contention while going through it. So, what's people's answer? They run to litigation lawyers. And although lawyers are very important and most of the times very necessary in separation, it's also something that you can limit and pick what it is that you bring to your lawyer so you're not really racking up those bills.
So I think a few things. Legal fees, they can really drive up costs and become exorbitant. And really, it's up to the client to ensure that those bills don't skyrocket. And there are ways of doing that. So, firstly, if you're going to hire a lawyer, understand, and you should hire a lawyer because legal advice is priceless. Whether you're on your own, mistakes we made. If you're with a mediator, mediator's not going to give legal advice. So just even knowing your rights and obligations is so important in this process. But understand that there's no hourly set fee for lawyers. They're all over the map. And in the GTA, I've seen lawyers for 300 an hour. I've seen lawyers for 1200 an hour. The higher the cost does not necessarily mean that you're getting a better lawyer. What you should be looking for is the best lawyer who understands the particulars of your situation because every divorce and separation is unique. Every family is unique. No two are the same. Um, so instead of looking at, well, this one must be great because they charge this much, really look for their experience, what their passions are, what their experiences are. So that's going to help limit the cost, the overall cost. Another thing, people tend to want their lawyer to hold their hand. Your lawyer's not your therapist. And while you can call your lawyer multiple times a day and maybe even, you know, multiple times every day, every week, but they bill for the time that they're speaking with you. And if your lawyer is, let's say, $600 an hour, and they shouldn't be used as your therapist, doesn't it make more sense to go see a counselor or a therapist whose rate is a lot lower? Maybe a divorce coach whose rate is a lot lower, because these are people, professionals that can help you and guide you on what you really need to ask your lawyer and what they can help you with at a
Mhm.
much lesser cost.
Absolutely. And you hit it right on. There's so many people who think that hiring more professionals while going through separation is going to be more expensive. As a divorce coach, I get that argument often. Well, I can't afford a divorce coach. I already have a lawyer. And I understand that perspective. But when you're using somebody as a sounding board to guide you and help navigate through the separation, and you're not having to bring everything to your lawyer that you would with perhaps not the help of a divorce coach, you're really limiting those costs to the divorce coach's hourly rate as opposed to bringing it to the lawyer's hourly rate. And when I work with clients, many times before they have a meeting with their lawyer, we'll discuss exactly what it is that they need to bring to the lawyer's attention and what exactly it is that they need the lawyer's help with, as opposed to bringing all the emotional upset that they're currently feeling. So it really does keep the time limited with the lawyer and the emotional support that clients need.
Exactly. Divorce is a difficult process, equated with as difficult as a death, or a serious illness. And there's nothing shameful about needing that help. And that help is out there and it is available. There's also some free online groups on social media sites like Facebook, um, so that you can have some peer support or a little bit of guidance. Um, there are alternatives to calling your lawyer every second of the day, and that's so important. Um,
One thing that you
but
just said that, sorry to interrupt you, one thing you said is so important. And also, I just want to caution people because although support groups are so important to have, just to feel like you're not alone and to talk to different people, I want to caution you that having the support from the wrong people is just so dangerous because you have people saying, you can go for more, or that's such a jerk of an ex and you can really just fight them and get all this, and all of these things that are going to make you think, yeah, I'm going to talk to my lawyer and I'm going to fight for that. And you're encouraged by these people who have probably wildly different negative experiences than you do, which led them to have this idea. And it makes you feel at times that you should be going for different things than maybe your situation would allow for. And I just want to caution you when you are getting the support of people that it's by the right people, or it can be very expensive.
exactly, and that's a very good point. So, as well, know that everybody's situation has different pieces to it. It's like having a different puzzle. So, if you might hear from somebody, well, I was able to get, I don't know, $10,000 a month in spousal support. So you should really go for the jugular and go and do the same. And my answer to a client is, but understand, just making up numbers here, that their ex-spouse was earning 300,000 and your ex-spouse is earning 60,000. So there's different components. So it's not what works for one works for all. Everybody's separation and divorce has different pieces to their puzzle. So that is very important. Um, Also know that riling things up and making things more contentious is going to cost you money. And that's why it's so important going back to learning to regulate emotion, getting help with regulating your emotions. Um, Emotional decisions are terrible decisions. They tend to be costly decisions. And, even things like just even giving up because you're scared of the outcome. People just need that extra support sometimes, and that's okay.
Mhm. And also to caution not to run to your lawyer to address a topic that may not help you in the court proceedings. And I say this, for example, I have several clients that before working together, they would run to their lawyer and say, he didn't drop off the shoes and I need him to drop off the shoes. And then the lawyer writes this letter to the opposing counsel. Please advise your client to drop off the shoes. It's unfair that he doesn't do that for the children and best interest, da 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 da. The lawyer will address what the client is wanting them to address because they have to. That's the instructions. So it's not fault of the lawyer, but it's fault of the client who's feeling emotional and says, yeah, now he got that letter. And all of a sudden, your bill is continuing to climb, and you are getting it at the end of the month thinking, oh my God, how did this climb so much? It's because the contention and emotions are so high that there's so much being dealt with through lawyers that doesn't have to be.
It's a great example, and again, it's emotionally driven. So while you may be really upset that you're not getting your things back, whether it's the shoes, the jacket, whatever it may be, most of these material items are cheaper for
Oh, yeah.
you to replace on your own, as annoying as it is, rather than going to the lawyer. So if the letter cost $500, well, maybe I could have bought 5 pairs of running shoes. Like, it's what's that expression? Penny wise, pound foolish, right? Um, so the emotion has no place in divorce, and your lawyers are not there to help you manage your emotions.
Right. And that's a great example. It's so expensive to write these letters back and forth for things that you really could be putting the money towards other things. And when you're having somebody help you, like a divorce coach or a therapist or somebody to manage those emotions, it's going to be a much simpler process to go through divorce, because now you're actually addressing your feelings and emotions and getting through it more cost effective. So it's really going to help you. So I think Jennifer and I both urge you to get the appropriate help that you need so that this is something that's going to be more manageable on both ends.
Exactly, exactly. I'm always saying, love your children more than you hate your ex. So while you may feel that all of this extra litigation and you're getting back at them, but at the end of the day, you're losing out and your children are losing out.
Absolutely. If you have any questions or you'd like to maybe discuss this further, we are happy to help. You can contact us anytime.